Alright, take two on this one because I managed to confuse myself for a significant period of time. So, I've got two concepts. I've got railgun concept and I've got shield concept. So the railgun concept is you got your rails, but you've also got spare rails. Don't mind that deformed one. He has a few extra chromosomes. So basically, you cycle through rails every time they shoot. It allows them time to, recover from all the stresses. So I thought of like literally a revolver. I did also think of like an up and down one. So you'd have rail and then rails below it, but you'd also have rails above it. So then basically it would, go down, go down, go down, and then like revolve backwards and come back up to the top. This one, I'm pretty sure is more efficient weight-wise, but probably will be more mechanically complex. This one, so daisies, it's simpler, but it uses up a lot more space. But both concepts are cool. I would actually like to implement them, but it's not on the priority list. The next one, which is also not on the priority list at the moment, is how shields work, or my concept that I kind of want to work with. So you've got your shield, you've got your ship, you've got a gravity gun, which you have to develop, otherwise you can't use shields. You've got a hatch down here with a storage tank. So basically, you use molecules or atoms or whatever, and gravity to create a like elemental shield, basically. So I think the heavier the element or molecule, the better. So you stuff like, I don't know, iron or gold or something like that. And it come out of the bottom of the ship. You'd use the gravity gun to manipulate it, and then you'd have your shield. There we go. So the main resource for the shield is actually heat capacity. So you'd have and it would be the gravity gun creating the heat. So you'd have an internal heat sink. The gravity gun would likely have some heating apparatus to, remove it. And you'd have radiators. Obviously, radiators are the most effective, then the heat sink for storing, and then these tiny things here. The higher the heat capacity, the basically more able you are to manipulate the shield. So I want that to be the primary resource of the shield, not the molecules, because we can't really create nor destroy energy, that sort of thing. So I'm probably gonna, unless something substantial happens, you can retrieve the molecules through the gravity gun. Shields will have a sliding scale of hardness from negative 50% to positive 50%. With the bottom being a soft shield, Jesus Christ, and this being a hard shield. Man, my drawing skills are amazing. So a soft shield is basically a liquid shield, and then a hard shield is just a solid shield. The more solid it gets, the less sensor information will be able to pass through and then be retrieved, so it'll basically bounce off and not work. So, can't see shit. Bless me, I had to sneeze, that was loud. So you'd likely need to use camera drones on the outside to see stuff. Sorry, I might have to sneeze again. No, I don't. Alright. So, the basic concept with the shield at the moment is the softer it is, the... Give me a sec. I wrote this down. I want to make sure I get this right this time because I confused myself last time. Okay. So the softer the shield, the more effective thermal weapons are, but the less effective kinetic weapons are. So we'll just use lasers and railguns as an example. So I'll just draw another shield so it's easier to like visualize it. Fucking weird ass French fry. So if you have a soft shield, the lasers will be able to pass through because there's not really many molecules in the way, and when it heats it up, it just like removes the molecule from that path. If you've got a solid shield, they won't really be able to do much because the heat will be dissipated along many, many molecules. So instead of heating a very localized part, right here, it'll actually be trying to heat up the entire thing, or just this segment right here, which is a lot more difficult. And I forgot about kinetic weapons. And then I don't really know how to like reasonably explain this, but the liquid shield when it comes to kinetic weapons would like envelop, I don't know, a railgun shot, even though a railgun's probably going to be the main thing that just ignores shields because they have so much power. But it would envelop the railgun shot because, it has area, it has mass. This would likely be more effective with like chemically charged weapons, like a ballistic gun, an M16 or whatever. But that's the concept for liquid shields. And then with hard shields, if it's just a wall, the railgun will be hitting a particular point and could likely just shatter it. So, it would just break through. Probably if you were to use like really, really, really heavy elements, you could negate that while also being effective against lasers, but it would weigh a lot because of the density per kilo, per liter or whatever. So those are the main. That's like the basic rundown of shields. Just gotta make sure I don't forget anything. Thermal release, shield strength, hardness. Yeah. Oh, and obviously, the shield strength is, do you have a shit ton of heat capacity? What grade of shield is it? What weapon is being used against it? So shields will have like a differing effectiveness, depending on all the factors involved, but I've yet to expand on that just yet. But I hope this concept of shield kind of makes sense. It did to me, but there's still some holes that I kind of want to fill with it. So yeah, concept with shields, PogChamp, and railguns as well.